Hello everyone, happy Friday. And I'm back. I missed a couple weeks. I needed to take some me time, but I have something very interesting for you here. I'm just gonna give a few minutes for people to hop on in case someone's joining me live. Otherwise, you can let me know in the comments, hashtag afterparty or hashtag replay. But basically, it's weird things happening again. No. Okay. I'm gonna write a test again. I hope this is still working. Okay, that came up. Okay. So, I want to talk to you today about this book called The Dynamic Laws of Healing. And what's crazy about this book is that it was written in 1966. Now, when I read this book a few years ago, I found it absolutely fascinating because it basically talks about the law of attraction, the power of the mind, the secrets to healing, and I couldn't believe that it was from 1966. There is some amazing stuff in this book, so I'm just going to go through it. There's 13 chapters, 1, 2, 3, and about 12 or 11 laws. So this might be a two-parter. I'm going to go through the first 6 this week and then the other 6 next week. But the laws of healing go like so. The no power of healing. The surprise law of healing. The healing law of release. The yes law of healing. The healing law of praise. And the healing law of love. And we're going to just touch on those for a minute, or for today. So let me just go. There's some stuff in here that I highlighted. So it says the word health comes from an Anglo-Saxon word meaning hale, whole, well, and hearty. This should be your condition at all times. If it is not, there is something you can do about it now. Though you are unaware of it, your healing power is quietly working within you at all times, repairing cells, carrying off waste, nourishing tissues, and healing wounds. The shocking truth is that disease is self-inflicted. Disease is caused by wrong thoughts, opinions, and beliefs, moving upon and within the body, constricting your life force. Envy, hate, and fear, when these sentiments are habitual, are capable of starting organic change and genuine disease, wrote scientist Dr. Alexis Carrel decades ago. The shocking truth is that the mind isn't located only in the brain, as most of us have been led to believe. The mind is found in every cell of your body. Similar ideas gather themselves together and become thought centers. These centers settle in various parts of the body, affecting the body according to their positive or negative nature. Every cell is enveloped in thought. Or you could say every cell thinks. Scientists state it more technically by saying that every cell is filled with life, light, intelligence, and substance, which form an atomic structure. Like, let me know if this is blowing your mind. This book is from 1966, The Dynamic Laws of Healing. If the body were a solid mass of flesh and bone, it might be difficult to believe that the mind has this power, this much power over it. But there is nothing solid in the body. It is about 80% water. Though we often think of the bones as a hard mass, in reality they are filled with a fluid substance and are soft, pliable, and porous. The reason for this is that they are penetrated by the capillaries of the blood as the blood corpuscles are formed within the bones. If that which appears solid in the body were condensed into actual solids, your body would not be as big as a fly speck. Because of its fluid content, thoughts move easily and through the body to reshape it, to build up or tear down, according to the nature of man's thinking, or one's thinking. So, a beautiful way for you to release your own healing power right now is by affirming, I am letting divine intelligence express perfection through me now. I'm going to say that again. I am letting divine intelligence express perfection through me now. Or, I am divine intelligence. Every part of my body is filled with divine intelligence. I am whole, well, harmonious through and through. Isn't that beautiful? So, Plato told Greek physicians, the part can never be well unless the whole is well. There is a difference between healing and curing a person, as Plato realized from the above statement. To heal is to make whole the entire man, spirit, soul, and body. To cure means to eliminate or relieve immediate distress. So, I want to go on through So today I want to go through the first 6 laws of healing, and this will be a 2-parter. So next week we're going to go through the last 6 laws of healing that are all in this book. And so the very first healing law is the no law of healing. So basically, this says that you are to use your everlasting no power in situations and conditions that you do not want to last. So what is it in your life right now that you do not welcome, that you do not wish to continue? Whether that's in your physical body, your relationships, romantic and otherwise, something within yourself, or in your job. What is it that you are no longer willing to tolerate? And you can affirm by saying, it simply cannot be. It is not so. I do not accept this condition. It is nothing. It has no power. And I'll give you a quick story. I have a minor incurable condition in my bladder. Now, I say incurable because I used to be on medications for it, but I'm not anymore. And it does flare up from time to time, but not nearly as often as it used to. years in my life where it was a constant stress, a constant source of pain and discomfort. And to make a long story short, I found out that chamomile tea helped this condition more than any other medicine I was ever given. And one day, many, many years ago, I was flying home from my mother's in Florida, and I realized that my bladder was starting to hurt, but I did not have my chamomile tea. But I had just picked up this book. This book was found in my mother's home. The previous tenants left a box of books, and it turned out that most of the books I now have at my place, because they were exactly what I'm all about. There was a highly sensitive person book by Dr. Elaine Aron. I was literally about to go buy it anyway. It ended up being at my mom's, and this was one of them. So I'm leaving with this book on my way home. I'm on the plane, my bladder starts to hurt, and I'm reading this chapter. I just started reading it. So I was like, okay, let me see if I can put this into practice now. So I just kept repeating this statement exactly. It's why I highlighted it. It simply cannot be. It is not so. I do not accept this condition. It is nothing and it has no power over me. I said it over and over and over. And the bladder pain went away. The bladder pain went away. I've also done this when I was on a school trip more than over a decade ago. I went to interior design school for a year, and we were on a class trip to go visit a whole bunch of Frank Lloyd Wright houses, and I felt like I was getting sick on the way home, like scratchy throat, achy body. And I repeated this. I had already done it for my bladder. I repeated this, and by the time we got home, 10, 12-hour bus ride home, I wasn't feeling sick anymore. The power of your mind is immense. We are not taught the true power of the mind. And it influences every aspect of your life. The body follows the mind. I later learned that in hypnosis school. If you can conceive wellness in your mind, and if you can hold on to that vision of whatever you want, wellness, health, success, love, happiness, whatever you can conceive in the mind, the body will follow. It's also how I healed my herniated discs without surgery. Now, think of it also this way. Oh, 1 second. Come in, I'm recording, but come in. Hello? No, I'm having my father's dropping off a sewing machine. So, back to the mind. Your mind, right? Think of it this way. When an architect wants to create a building, where does it have to exist first? In the mind. Before this architect can even put it onto paper, right? First it has to be transferred from the mind onto a piece of paper. You make a plan, a blueprint, all the elevations. But before you can even draw it onto paper, it has to exist in the mind. And before you can transfer it from the paper to 3D and make a building, it has to exist in the mind. So if you can say no in your mind first to a condition or situation that you no longer want, you're planting that seed, and that's where it has to begin. As you cleanse your mind of negative beliefs, you withhold the substance of your thoughts from them. You disrobe them. You rob them of their power and their very existence. And before your problems can be resolved, there must be a mental and emotional house cleaning. So that's the no law of healing. What are you going to say no to today? So the next law of healing is the surprise law of healing. The surprise law of healing is forgiveness. In spite of advances in scientific and medical research, no pill has yet been created that can cause a sick person to do the first thing he should do, metaphysically, toward gaining permanent health, which is to forgive. There is a simple way you can practice forgiveness. Daily meditate upon and speak forth these words. All that has offended me, I forgive. Whatever has made me bitter, resentful, unhappy, I forgive. Within and without, I forgive. Things past, things present, things future, I forgive. Forgiveness creates that vacuum when you're holding on to those lower density energies like resentment, hate, lack, fear, guilt, shame, worry. When you forgive, that self-compassionate act, it literally sets you free. It opens you up. It creates room for something new to come in. Resentment, condemnation, anger, and the desire to get even or to see someone punished or hurt are things that rot your soul and tear down your health. You must forgive injuries and hurts of the past and present, not so much for the other person's sake, but for your own. I fully and freely forgive. I lose and let go. I let go and let God do his perfect work of healing in my body, mind, and affairs. Hurt or hate of any kind scars the soul and works an illness in the flesh. The illness will not be fully healed while you continue to remain unforgiving. What are you ready to forgive today? To invoke this surprise law of healing. And I know it's easier said than done, but the one person we always forget to forgive is ourselves. And that is when true forgiveness can take place. Forgive yourself for being human and making mistakes. Forgive yourself for going back to something you thought you knew better. Forgive yourself. You are human. You are a soul, a spiritual being, an immortal being having a human experience. We came here to learn. We can be so hard on ourselves. Self-condemnation leads to dire results in matters of health and finances. The word forgive means to give up. At times, the greatest way to forgive others and to get them to forgive you is to give them up. And then to also say, I am now forgiven by everything and everyone of the past and present that needs to forgive me. I am now positively forgiven by everyone. Forgiveness is all-powerful. Forgiveness heals all ills. Forgiveness makes the weak strong. Forgiveness makes the cowardly courageous. Forgiveness makes the ignorant wise. Forgiveness makes the mournful happy. Forgiveness can unblock whatever has stood between you and your good. Let it. The third law of healing is the healing law of release. One never loses anything worth having through release. Release is magnetic and draws to you your own. Often it is not an enemy you need to release emotionally, but a relative or a friend. A fine healing formula is to forgive your enemies and release your friends. Khalil Gibran has advised the Prophet, "Love one another, but make not a bond of love. Let there be spaces in your togetherness. Stand together, yet not too near together." Affirm, I let loose and let it go. I let go and let God's perfect good manifest through all these changes. Only good shall come from this. I now let go everything and everybody of past or present that has caused discomfort in, through, or round about me. We all go free to greater wholeness. The yes law of healing, the fourth law of healing. Your words are constantly doing one of two things, building up or tearing down. In other words, healing or destroying. Every word you speak goes forth from your mouth, charged with atomic energies. Good words are alive with life, health, and vitality. The universal life current within you is subject to your words. Your every word is recorded in your body so that your words become your flesh. You literally eat your words. When asked what his first deed would be if he were to be made emperor of China, Confucius replied, "I would re-establish the precise meaning of words." And this is a topic I could talk about for days. I'll tell you a quick interesting story for a little clue I'll be doing for another masterclass after part 2 of this one. Is the meaning of letters, the meaning of words, the energy that words carry, right? Some of you may be familiar with this concept and others not so much, but words cast spells. That's why it's called spelling. And I watched this amazing half-an-hour YouTube video on the root alphabet of all languages. And it went on to actually explain things like do you know why an I is who sat down and said, okay, this is going to be this shape, right? The alphabet is basically sticks and curves in many different forms. So let's say the letter B, right? B for baby, breast, belly, bear, and how, if you think of a breast or a baby, right? If a woman is pregnant, she has a belly. That's your B. That's not a coincidence. And something like what I remember is the letter I. Do you know why a letter I is shaped like a stick and a dot? Any guesses? Any guesses? So this alphabet was drawn onto a circle, basically, and all the way around the circle were the letters. But then in the middle of the circle, they put a little plus sign, because that's the middle, and they drew a circle around that, right? So imagine a circle with a plus sign in it. So the very center of this alphabet is pi. And the alphabet, this ancient alphabet, was aligned with the North Star. So the letter I is the North Pole, and the dot is the North Star. Isn't that crazy? That's where the letter I came from. Anyway, I could, let me know if you want me to share that link. But this stuff is fascinating to me. So going back to the words we use. Words of disease set in motion a disintegrating force that will eventually shatter the strongest organisms if they are not neutralized by constructive words. Destructive words cause endless ills in one's mind, body, and relationships. People who continually talk about disease invariably experience it. Repetition of any word fixes it in mind and causes it to become a moving force in the body. Thus, the power of repeating good, life-filled words for health and strength. To affirm means to assert positively, even in the face of all contrary evidence, that a thing is so. Through affirmation, you are not changing God, who is immutable good. Through affirmation, you change your thinking so that you may accept the immutable good in whatever form you decree. The yes law of healing. The nerves are the wires that transmit the mind's message to all parts of the body. Since all parts of the body contain brain cells, remember, all cells think, your mind is in every cell. They carry out the words that have been spoken to them. Talking about nervousness and weakness will produce these corresponding conditions. Affirm, I am the radiant child of God. My mind, body, and affairs now express His radiant perfection. Another healing hypnosis I do, it's I call it the healing sphere. But in this healing sphere, I literally command your body and every cell of your body to go back to its original coding and begin working the way it was meant to work before things got in its way. You can literally command your body to go back to its original coding, its original function, and for everything to work harmoniously. You can also affirm, let there be health in my mind and body, and wholeness throughout my life now. So another law of healing, fifth law of healing, if I'm counting right, is the healing law of praise. One of the greatest secrets of healing is to praise and give thanks for it, right in the face of illness, before there is anything to give thanks for. So I learned how to invoke this law of healing when I healed from my herniated discs without surgery. I started thanking for my healing. I started imagining myself dancing again. And I would just walk and prance around my apartment, just, acting as if I was already healed. Now the thing was, for 6 years, I was in excruciating pain from these 2 herniated discs. But one day, I got fed up with living like that. I decided I was going to heal. I had already healed from my bladder condition, so I had the evidence. I had already done this before. But now I was asking for, 2 discs to like go back home, and I did speak to them. I told my discs to go back home. I imagined them being sucked back into place like a turkey baster, like sucks it back in. I did my exercises from my physio religiously. She asked me to do them twice a day. I did them 3 times a day. I researched how to heal from herniated discs without surgery, and lo and behold, I found people who wrote books about it, people that had healed. And for 3 months, I just lived and breathed, healing these herniated discs, but I believed I was already healed, and then my body followed, and it started in the mind. But my body followed, and guess how quickly it followed? When I got my vibration high, I, made sure I was happy, I did all my exercises, and then I just kept projecting my thoughts into the future as if I was already healed. My body followed in 3 months. In 3 months, I healed from these herniated discs without surgery, even though my doctor told me I couldn't. She wanted to give me epidurals for pain management. I'm like, no thanks. Like, there's no baby coming out of me. Why are you offering me epidurals? And it was one of the happiest days of my life when I got to go to the appointment with my doctor to review the findings of my second MRI, and the technician actually wrote, impressively, the discs are no longer herniated. And my doctor was like, oh, just because you're not in pain anymore, it doesn't mean they're not herniated, blah, blah, blah. I had to beg for this second MRI. She's like, oh, well, other people need MRIs more than you do. I'm like, well, hello. I want to dance again. I need to know if I'm going to do more damage or not. So like, I even had to fight for the second MRI, but I was like, I told her, I know I feel better. I've made progress, even if I wasn't fully healed, but the proof was in the pudding, right? The pictures showed that the discs were no longer herniated, and I made her read it to me again. I was like, what was that? Can you read that again? So I've seen these things in action, and that's why I want to share them with you now. I don't have some special power. You have this power too. You just have to believe it and know it and start using it. It is possible for persistent praise to make a complete change in one's health and appearance. It absolutely is. I made up my mind that there is an intelligent principle everywhere in the universe. It flows through me and I can talk to it. I began to praise it and to tell each joint in my body what I wanted it to do and how wonderful I thought it was. Within a year, she was completely healed. I praise what strength I have. I give thanks for what health I have. I glory in what life I have, and God now gives the increase. The healing power of singing and laughter. Praise and thanksgiving open the way to restored health when nothing else will. This, I think, is worth reading. All healing systems recognize joy as a beneficent factor in the restoration of health to the sick. An old country doctor used to tell how he healed a woman of a large cyst by telling her a funny story, at which she laughed so heartily that the fluid broke loose and passed away. The mind puts kinks in the nerves in ways beyond description. A thought of fear will stop the even flow of life in some nerve center deep down in the body, forming a nucleus where other fears may accumulate and finally congest the blood concerned in some important function. The impact of energy of some kind is necessary to break the dam. There are various methods of erasing fear from the mind and preventing its congestion in the body. One of the most direct and effective shatterers of fear is laughter. Laugh away your fears. See how ridiculous they are when traced to their source. That there is an intimate relation between happiness and health goes without question. Singing promotes health because it increases the circulation, and good circulation is a sign and promoter of health. If the bloodstream were never congested and all the nerves and pores were open, free and swiftly carrying forward their appointed work, there would never be an abnormal or false growth in the body. It follows logically that we should cultivate those mind activities which naturally stimulate the currents of life in our body. One of these, and a very important one, is joy. Healing through song is a powerful form of affirmation, since the healing vibration is intensified as much as 80%. Wow. Recognition is a form of praise. Description is a form of praise. To describe and dwell upon what you do not like magnifies its importance and gives it negative power, which reacts upon you. And rounding off, the healing law of love. Disease often results from a violation of the law of love. Thoughts of hate generate a deadly poison in the body, which, if not neutralized, can even produce death. Love cleanses the mind and body of these hates that accumulate in the form of resentment, criticism, sorrow, remorse, guilt, fear, anger, and jealousy. Affirmations of love change these killing thoughts into life thoughts. Affirmations of love bring peace to the mind and body. Love has been described as the physician of the universe because it has the power to heal all ills when invoked silently or by spoken affirmation. By persistently dwelling upon the thought of divine love, man unifies himself with the healing power of love within him, and it then pours forth through his body in healing streams. Through the thought of divine love, man can free himself from all types of limitations. The affirmation for this: divine love, manifest thyself in me. Manifest thyself in me. Love is the key to healing. Many doctors now agree that the majority of man's ills come from congestion and from poison stirred up by negative emotions. Love relaxes and harmonizes man's emotions. Love attunes the individual to the healing power within himself. Harvard scientists discovered that you can actually bombard people, situations, and conditions with love, thereby producing miraculous changes. They predicted that turning love on might soon become a universal prescription for healing the world's ills. My heart is filled with divine love, and divine love will work any miracle that needs working. Divine love is healing me now. Many persons, as a result of being forced or suppressed in childhood, have hard, unyielding places in the subconscious mind that do not readily yield to the power of the word. But the word love overcomes these hard thoughts which have caused mental and physical anguish. Since love is a harmonizing, constructive power, when it is made active in the mind of man, love conserves his substance. It reconstructs, rebuilds, and restores man and his world. The former drunk proved love's healing power. Oh, there must have been story about a drunk. Divine love brings into my life the right people who can help me and make me happy, and whom I can help and make happy. Those people who are not for my highest good now fade out of my life and find their good elsewhere. I walk in the charmed circle of God's love, and I am divinely irresistible to my greatest good now. Oh, I love it. Repeat after me. I am divinely irresistible to my greatest good now. I behold you with the eyes of love, and I glory in your perfection now. Wow. So that's the recap of the 6 first laws of healing. Let me know if you enjoyed this. There are 6 more laws of healing next week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, maybe 5 or 6. Next week, we're going to be going over the miracle law of healing, the imaging law of healing, the mystical law of healing, and chemicalization, a healing process. So, that's it for today, my loves. Let me know if you have any questions. If you have any similar stories of your own healing, feel free to share them in the group or in the comments. Write your own post, share with us. And make a commitment to yourself to start invoking the healing power of no. What do you want to say no to? What do you no longer welcome in your life? The healing power of yes. Healing power of praise. Healing power of love, joy, laughter. And I'm missing one. The surprise law of healing. Oh, and I'll just read one last part. I love that she starts the book by saying, the word dynamic has the same root as the word dynamite. That which is dynamic is powerful, forceful, filled with energy, and leads to change. That which is dynamic tends to blast you out of a rut. The dynamic laws of healing. So yeah, thank you for joining me today. That's it for today. We'll continue next week. This book is crazy. It's from 1966. I don't know about you, but I tend to believe in older things than newer things. And I hope you enjoyed it today. My inbox is always open if you have any questions. And I also have some openings for donation-based intuitive readings, as well as single session intuitive healings. So you can inbox me if you're interested in one of those. Have a great day and a great weekend wherever you are. And lots of love from my heart to yours. Ciao for now. Button is not working again. This happened last time. Great. Oh, Facebook. I don't know what to do. Come on.
finish.